So now it's time for the next step in our elections process. And for that, I'm going to welcome past president and elections chair, Aaron Conti, to the stage.
It would help if I unmuted. Thank you so much, Scott and Shannon, too. I am honored to be serving as the elections chair this year for the amazing candidates we have running for the 2022-2023 Board of Directors. They've been working hard all week to share their goals for the AIS and to hear from you, the members, on what you need and what you want for the AIS in the next year. As someone who's run in several AIS elections, I can tell you it is not easy, and doing it virtually has only brought even more challenges. So I hope that you all will recognize the courage that each of these candidates have for even stepping up to answer the call to leadership, as well as their wealth of knowledge and their passion for the organization. You hopefully have already seen their candidate packets that are available on the AIS website, as well as their opening speeches, and we got to hear from them during some Q&A sessions today. So if you've missed any of that, please check out the AIS website. But now it is time for our closing speeches for our candidates. Our quad director candidates will go first, and they have 2 minutes, and then we will have our officer candidates who will have 4 minutes. So without further ado, first up, we will begin with our West Quad Director candidate, and I am pleased to welcome Tristan Osorio from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas.
Hey, West Quad. It was awesome to get to hear from our friends in the breakout session, and I really enjoyed connecting with all of you. And I'm grateful for your support, and I look forward to getting to know each chapter over the coming year. During my time in the Freedom by Design fireside chats and the pod calls, I have been able to meet some of you and your chapters already. These conversations and interactions are a very large reason as to why I want to be your West Quad director. I would like to be able to do my part to keep these fun conversations happening and hopefully bring in some more of our friends in the West Quad. Every single chapter in our quad is important, regardless of how many members you may have. And every chapter has different needs and requires different levels of support. And I want you all to know that I am here to listen and help you get that support, whatever it may be. As many chapters transition back to in-person classes, different challenges will pop up and we will work through them together. With our combined experience, I am confident that we can ensure the West Quad has another successful year. Every chapter is hardworking and has potential to provide service beyond their university. This can come in a variety of ways that we are all capable of. Collaborating with other chapters on hosting virtual events is one way we can increase our connectivity within the West Quad. And now is a perfect time to seize the opportunity to forge additional relationships and continue to use our platform to help develop each other. But also connecting fellow students to industry professionals is one of the utmost importance of the AIS. And I will use my privilege as your West Quad director to connect you to opportunities that will benefit you, your chapters, and your members. Thank you all for the great conversations and consideration, and I look forward to talking to you all very soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tristan. And next up, we will have our South Quad director candidates. We will begin with Colt Brock from the Georgia Institute of Technology.
Thank you, Aaron. Hi, everyone. In case you didn't know, my name is Colt Brock. Happy second day of forum. I hope you've all been enjoying the content and been able to keep in touch with your members about everything that has happened so far and is still to come. Over the last couple of days, it's been awesome to be able to see some old friends, make some new ones. And for those of you that I don't know yet, I hope I get the chance to meet you before the end of the conference. From joining the AIS in high school to approaching the end of my undergraduate studies now 6 years later, it has been a roller coaster of an experience that I wouldn't trade for anything. Throughout this time, I've been supported continuously by the organization and its members, been a part of change that wouldn't have been possible outside of the AIS, and have met people I now consider family. As a 2022-2023 South Quad director, I would love to continue supporting the members of the South Quad and all students, continue being a part of the change we are making as an organization, and continue growing the AIS family. While I wish I had more time to talk about the opportunities the AIS has offered me, I'll share this one. While serving on my chapter board, I had the opportunity to learn and grow alongside the members of the SCAD and Kennesaw State chapters. Working alongside the incredible leaders there, I realized that the greatest resource we have in the AIS is each other, and I hope to be able to help chapters grow closer together next year. Over the years, I've been given amazing opportunities by the organization to work in different facets of leadership at the local and national level. Each of these opportunities taught me an incredible amount about the organization, about leadership, and about myself. I hope to be able to use these opportunities to pay it forward to the members of the South Quad in the same way all those before me did. If elected as your 2022-2023 South Quad Director, I hope to build off the countless hours of work put in by our current and previous national board, working side by side with the new board to represent the members of the South Quad and bring the hard work and resources back to you, our members. The position of Quad Director is not an easy one, and I hope to be able to work alongside all of you next year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Colt. Next up, we will hear from our final candidate for South Quad Director, Aubry Bauer from the University of Tennessee, Knoxville.
Great, thank you, Erin, and thank you, Colt. If you listened to my opening speech, it was all about stories. I even started with one, which I'll return to in a moment. And the stories we tell are important. They make us unique. But what also makes us unique is how we tell these stories. Listening and learning from conversations with you all over the past few days, I have shifted from focusing on stories, a plural noun, to storytelling, a verb. And I'm not here to rewrite the squad his, her, their stories. I'm here to celebrate them. From the chapters thriving on firm and other university visits, to the chapters starting afresh with new e-boards, to the South Quad directors whose resources lie somewhere in the COP drive. I'm here to tell your stories. So let me start by finishing the one I began in my opening speech. On a night just like this, I will repeat, progress isn't linear, it's an upward spiral. And as we travel, we tell stories and grow together. As I share the South Quad survey results across my screen, I saw some surprised looks on my fellow squad leaders' faces. Where they were expecting to see graphs, they saw faces. And where they expected numbers, they saw words and phrases. Watching these leaders' faces, I shifted gears and told everyone to just take a moment and pore over the survey results. Turn off your camera, take a moment, do whatever's most comfortable. And then let's talk, let's discuss, let's dissent, and let's continue. Until next time. And before the next time we meet, there will be another newsletter designed, another survey sent out, another resource somewhere in the COP drive shared. This verb, storytelling, is a powerful method of action and interconnection that I hope the South Quad will engage and embrace. I've told my story, so now it's time for you all to work on telling yours. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Aubry. Thank you to our South Quad Director candidates. Next up, we have our candidates for Northeast Quad Director. And we will be beginning with Enya Shu from Northeastern University.
Thank you, Erin. Hello, friends. I'm Enya Shu. For many of you, this is probably the first time you're meeting me, which is weird because this is my closing speech. So instead of bombarding you with reasons why I think I would be a great quad director or facts about me, I'm going to talk about what I've learned from you all at Forum thus far. We all come to AIS for the same reasons: to learn what architecture is outside of school, to discover what we want to do with our passions and our careers after we graduate, and most importantly, to learn how we can make our world a better place. As AIS board members, chapter leaders, and rising student voices, I know that you have already dedicated countless hours in making your schools and our organization better. And I know you will continue to do that because that's just who we all are as people. Thank you for that, and thank you for continuing to show up and to put in the hard work. If elected as your next Northeast Quad Director, it would be an absolute privilege to support you and cheer you on as you further progress our field and create the change you want to see in the world. I'm beyond excited to see what we achieve together and to see what walls we can knock down. Finally, I want to leave you all with some wisdom and some hope I have for us. May you not measure your success or the success of your chapter by the number of members you have or by the engagement you get. May you instead measure yourself and your leadership by the people you shoulder tap, the connections you make, and by the love, passion, and drive for change that you share with others. So I'm so happy to have had this journey with you all, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Enya. Next up, we will hear from Christina Mock from Pennsylvania State University.
Good night, good morning, and good afternoon, wherever you are. Dear fellow members, candidates, and chapter presidents, I would like to thank you all for participating in these youth forums and for following my fellow candidates' journeys and mine throughout these elections. As a young woman from Panama City, I can't even begin to describe the impact that this organization has played during my college career, let alone my life adventure. 5 years ago, when my architecture student journey began, I would have never imagined standing here tonight with the AIS. Due to the life challenges, I didn't have the chance to be part of it at first. And now I have seen other students stop themselves from participating due to similar life obstacles. Therefore, as stated before, my main goal through it all is to advocate for students who are international students who face financial hardships and minority students, because they deserve some awareness and they have waited enough. Seeing my chapter evolve this past year has motivated me to push our organization forward as a nationwide movement, because we are more than a membership with benefits. We are more than just students. We are the American Institute of Architecture students, an organization that can shape its students' future, grow networks, have some fun, create memories, and become whatever we desire to be. If I'm elected as the new Northeast Squad Director, I would like to create change in the meaning of membership and the public's perspective. I want to personally engage with general members from each chapter and become available to them and their network, reinforce the relationship between presidents, and bring innovations not done prior. This is what our members desire and what they deserve. Exchange once and for all. And all we need to do is listen. And before I'm done, I would like to thank my executive board back at Penn State for being very supportive and collaborative, because without them, I would have never realized how important it is to listen and just watch. And once again, in Penn State spirit, I would like to say, we are AIS. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. Next up, we will hear from Nathan Fairs from Roger Williams University.
Thank you, Aaron. Can you hear me okay? Hello again. It has been so great speaking with members and delegates throughout the conference, hearing about your struggles and successes while being in a virtual pandemic-challenged world have been extremely eye-opening and inspiring. Through my conversations with you, I noticed that regardless of your struggles, or your chapter size or location in the quad, everyone I spoke to was hopeful for the future. Everyone was looking forward to how we can be the positive change our profession needs in these unstable and unpredictable times. As your Northeast Quad Director, I want to build our shared vision and facilitate the change you all deserve. I will use clear and frequent communication to make sure the information you need is passed down. I will provide an atmosphere of growth where we can continue to build off one another, and I will evoke change by listening to you and working tirelessly to make sure that your needs are the top priority of the AIS. Despite being in a virtual world, our futures are at the forefront of every decision we make. Whether it's supporting you through tough times, advocating for your needs, or rejoicing in your own successes, I will be here for you and our quad. I will take the virtual aspect of our lives and turn it to our advantage. Being able to grow and diversify the membership has never been easier. Virtual platforms allow us to reach anywhere in the quad, and I hope to not only grow our collegiate level membership, but get more high schoolers involved in AIS so they can have access to the resources we did not when we had to make big decisions about our futures. The member is the most important part of our organization, and my top priority is to personalize your AIS experience. This means catering the AIS to your needs, advocating for your issues, and providing all resources I can to foster an environment where we can take charge of our own future. I care about this community, and I am so grateful for the doors that have been opened for me. From planning our chapter's Blizzards Ball to being chapter president to even working on a national task force, I want to give back and help each member reach their full potential by being your next Northeast Quad Director. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nathan. And finally, we have Julia Andor from the New York Institute of Technology at Long Island.
Hi, everyone. My name is Julia Andor. I'm a fourth-year student at the New York Institute of Technology, pursuing my BArch as well as minoring in civic engagement and energy science, technology, and policy. Like many of you, I come from a relatively small chapter that is working hard to grow and serve its members. In the past year, I've had the honor of being the NYIT Long Island chapter president, as well as a national advocate for unhoused people and a member of the governance committee. I often think of the AIS as one big mentorship program. Now hear me out. Whether we call it that or not, the community thrives when we lean on one another and grow together. This mentorship goes by many names, but we all know the power of the shoulder tap. Your peer is telling you that they believe in you. That's the beauty of our organization. It's dedicated to elevating students in their design, their leadership, and their service. I want to take a second to thank those that have offered their guidance to me. I wouldn't be here without them. And I want to be that person for you. As your Northeast Quad Director, I would love to solidify the mentorship that already exists between nationals and chapters, as well as make more formal moves to connect schools with each other. I established and coordinated NYIT's first peer and professional mentorship program, and would love to apply that experience on a larger scale. Increasing the collaboration between chapters also means increasing communication. As I've become more involved at the national level, I've realized how intimidating it can be to send a message in Slack or participate in a national event. So I hope to create a better sense of familiarity with students and work to ensure everyone is comfortable in the spaces we create. Those of you who know me know that I'm a huge fan of Parks and Rec, so I'd like to leave you with a quote from the one and only Leslie Knope. Now go find your team and get to work. Whatever that work is that you find worth doing, do it and find some people to love who will do it with you.
Thank you so much, Julia. And that wraps it up for our Northeast Quad Director candidates. We will now move on to our Midwest Quad Director candidates. And first up, we have Gabby Spatz from Bowling Green State University.
Thank you, Erin. Up until recently, I never in a million years saw myself running for the position of Midwest Quad Director, but I have the same passion running for Midwest Quad Director now as I did 5 years ago when running for my first board position as treasurer. I love AIS with my whole heart, and it has changed my life completely, but this position is not about my life at all. It's about your lives as chapter leaders, designers, and some of the biggest contributors to the great community of architecture. My experiences as a chapter leader, Midwest Quad Conference sponsorship and funding director, and both committee member and chair have reinforced my most strongly held belief. The more that AIS members listen to and collaborate with each other, the more good we can do in architecture and our communities. If elected to be your Midwest Quad Director, I will wholeheartedly pursue greater accessibility to AIS and national for all members, hearing the voices of your chapter's entire board to help with more detailed and long-term strategic planning. After talking with many of you, I know that your chapters are in various states of rest, recovery, and success, but membership, funding, and morale are at the forefront for most. Having helped my own chapter at Bowling Green State University grow from $800 to $10,000 in 3 years as treasurer, I'm uniquely positioned to help you gain sponsorship and funding opportunities through curated emails, letters, and scripts, nationwide databases, and both local and regional research for your chapter specifically. I want to help your chapter to grow in membership, but also in valuable interaction by assisting in getting you partnerships, in creating and promoting inter-chapter events and fundraisers, and in marketing your chapter to students with different perspectives, dreams, and paths. I want to be your Midwest Quad Director so that I can be your voice to national, your resource, your confidant, and your chapter's biggest fan. But most of all, I want to be your friend. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabby. And finally, for our Midwest Quad Director candidates, we have Ethan Sandberg from the University of Kansas.
Hello once again to all of our amazing AIS members. I hope you all are enjoying Forum Converge so far. And for those that may not know who I am Ethan Sandberg, a 4-year AIS member that is ready to take his leadership journey to the next stage. Over the last few days, I've had the pleasure of answering questions and getting to know the Midwest Quad. And it brings me so much joy to see the AIS spark in so many eyes. However, it seems we may be missing a few friends that may be in chapters that are struggling right now, friends that may not even know we exist, and friends that are just looking for a community. The last few years have been hard on chapters and have left many damaged or seemingly lost in the fog. This is why I'm running for 2022-2023 AIS Midwest Quad Director, so that I can go searching for and help rebuild these chapters full of friends we haven't even met. My plan to do this starts with me doing what I know and am somewhat known for, using the knowledge I've gotten from co-authoring the National Chapter Model Bylaws and the National Chapter Guide, revising the So You're the Treasurer Guide, and through my time as chapter president. Then doing what I always do and get people energized and excited for the possibilities of AIS. I mean, convincing 4 other chapter members to join you in frigid, snowy Denver at the height of winter was no easy task. However, COVID hasn't just impacted individual chapters, but the quad as a whole. With chapters growing distant from one another, our community of friends seems to be getting further separated with it. But I know there is a desire to connect and talk with each other. And as Midwest Quad Director, I want to provide these opportunities for these passions and conversations to intersect and create something that I may not have even thought of before. Because AIS is nothing without its members or friends. And I want to dedicate my time over the next 1.5 years to help connect these friends to each other and build a stronger quad. My name is Ethan Sandberg, and I'm asking for your vote for the 2022-2023 Midwest Quad Director position.
Thank you so much, Ethan. And that finishes it up for our quad director candidates. So hope you're all giving them a round of applause from your home. We will now move on to our officer candidates, beginning with the position of vice president. They will have 4 minutes for their closing speeches. And we will start with Colin Brown from Auburn University.
Thank you, Erin. Hello. So those of you who know me know that I don't generally talk a lot, so I'm going to try and keep this concise. My name is Colin Brown, and I am a 5th-year thesis student here at Auburn University's Rural Studio in Greensboro, Alabama. I am also the current co-chair of the Technology and Sustainability Task Force with Aubry Bauer and the co-chair of the Wasteland Southwide Conference with Colt Brock, both of whom you've already had the pleasure of hearing from this evening. I am running for the 2022-2023 AIS National Vice President because I believe that students and members are the foundation and lifeblood of what makes our organization so great. Over the past few years, I've had the opportunity to work with some truly amazing people. And that has taught me so much from my time on committees and in chapter leadership. It has taught me the true value of collaboration and communication and the importance of every voice. It's also taught me that I don't know everything. You don't have to, and that the people you surround yourself with are just as important as your own personal experience. Lastly, it has taught me that you never quite know what you're capable of until you really try. We have had the opportunity to have some great conversations with a lot of you already, and I hope we'll get to meet some of you later this evening. But right now, I wanted to highlight a few of the things that I've talked about. The first is that, I want to use my time or use the position of vice president to increase awareness of the existing and possible future resources that are available to students, both domestically and abroad. The second thing is I want to use my position to help international students and chapters advocate for themselves and for their education. The third thing is to work with both executive board members, current and future to continue to increase the voices of students everywhere. And the last thing is I want to increase the accessibility and applicability of resources for every student, not just those in the United States. Can you guys hear me? Sorry, my internet was frozen for a second. Lastly, I recognize that every member of the AIS is unique and brings a different perspective to the conversation. And it would be my privilege to continue to work and talk with you both this evening and in the future. As your 2022-2023 Vice President, I want to work with and empower you and to amplify your voices beyond the organization. The future of the AIS is bright, but it wouldn't be that way without its many fantastic members and amazing leaders. I look forward to working with you. Thank you, and let's get to work.
Thank you very much, Colin. And now we will have Nicole Bass from the City College of New York.
Thank you, Erin, for that introduction. Before I start, I want to give a big thanks to the forum planning team for setting up another great forum with amazing keynotes back to back, and what a great roll call this year. Over the past 72 hours, we as candidates hosted a bunch of calls, and I want to thank all the attendees for asking such great questions and led to really in-depth conversations. We chatted about our stories into the AIS, how our chapters influenced us as leaders, and our vision for this organization. Tonight, I want to go into detail with about 3 themes and actionable goals I envision for this organization if elected Vice President. First is the AIS information. We need to improve the access to it. We already have so many great programming initiatives and opportunities, as well as wonderful work being done by members and committees. All this information and thoughtful work needs to be easily accessible, available in a timely fashion, and clear and comprehensive to the entire AIS community. By improving access, members can feel valued and see their work have a strong impact on the architecture community. We need to better utilize the AIS platform and use our connections with local and regional collaterals like AIA and NOMA chapters to boost the members and their work. Secondly, is the AIS community. Moving into an in-person/hybrid world, we need to work smarter and increase collaboration internally and externally. The beautiful thing about our AIS community is that there are so many facets to us, ranging from high school chapters to Freedom by Design to faculty advisors and to our collaterals. With this amazing community, we need to make sure each chapter is aware of this. We need to connect chapters with their high school counterparts, nearby Freedom by Design groups, and their AIA and NOMA chapters. This means engaging with the chapter presidents and the chapter boards. And as VP, help directors and ambassadors in connecting people together, and of course, have really fun programming and events. Thirdly, is the AIS alumni. Most of the students that have served and engaged in AIS did a bunch of things, like attending and planning conferences, participating and working in AIS programming and events. We need to honor their work, learn from their experiences as leaders, members, and students. This will ensure that members feel valued during their time in AIS and afterwards, especially as they move on into the profession and into AIA. Some ways we could reconnect and stay connected is keeping records of who was involved and publicly broadcasting it on our platform. We need to strengthen the AIS alumni programming with chapters and members and have informed transition guides for leadership roles. Again, these are just some of the many ideas I have for strengthening aspects of our membership and ensuring a healthy, long life of AIS on a local, regional, and international level. If elected, I want to jump right into collaborating and transitioning with President Quad and Ambassador-elects to hear everyone's goals and start strategizing for AIS. I hope to get your vote during this election, and I hope to chat with you more at COP reception and chats with the officer candidates later tonight. I look forward to working on a healthier AIS with you.
Thank you so much, Nicole. And finally, we will have our candidates for AIS National President, and we will begin with Cooper Moore from Kent State University.
Thank you, Erin, and hi, everyone. I'm Cooper. I have 30 followers on TikTok. I'm a former Midwest Quad director, and now I'm a candidate for president. But anyway, it's very nice to be with you all again this evening. I said in my last speech that I'm going to be more specific on ideas and objectives today. And my experience on the board of directors and as a quad director means that my goals are based in truth and reality. I'm not guessing at these. I've seen the problems that we face firsthand, and I'm optimistic that they can be solved. But the main point I want to make tonight is that next year is a pivotal year for the AIS. It's going to be an important year, any way you slice it, and our next president is going to have a huge job. So we need to find new members and new partners for the AIS. That is a top priority for me. And one of the many ways we can start to do this is to change how we market the AIS to be more focused on design. We've really focused on leadership and service for the past several years. And I think that an outside observer could be forgiven for thinking that we're a student organization that just happens to have a lot of architecture and design students in it. But if we emphasize design the way we do leadership and service, it will open doors for new partners and members to join us. So just as a start, we can change our competitions and make them about things that matter to us as students and as young people. And we can have those competitions run over breaks when students actually have time to participate in them. We can share members' designs with our networks and on social media. And I really want to work with members of our staff to make this pivot and find these new members and partners for the AIS. And speaking of our staff, the staff in the national office will be almost entirely new next year. So the president is going to have to lead an organization with a staff of new people who are new to the organization. We'll have a new executive director, a new membership director, a new NCARB liaison, although saying goodbye to our current liaison, Christine, is going to be the hardest part of 2022. But we'll have a new board and potentially a new marketing director as well. And yes, this is a fantastic opportunity to make some big improvements and lasting changes to the AIS, and some changes that we really need. There is a lot that could and probably should change about this organization. Like, for example, the membership portal is so frustrating, but it's going to take someone with experience on the board and institutional knowledge to know what to change, but also which aspects and traditions of the AIS are core to the organization and should stay intact. And by institutional knowledge, I don't mean knowing that Nora Klebow was the vice president in 1982 when we separated from the AIA, but I do know that. I mean knowledge of what makes the AIS work. And as a former quad director, having worked with the national staff for the past months planning this forum conference, I think I'm in the best position to take on these challenges. And we're not going to have any shortage of challenges next year, but through all of it, I want us to stay focused on the future. I don't want us to go back to normal, because you know what, we're all in the same organization, and we all know there is no normal for the AIS. So I don't want to waste our time chasing some idealized version of how we used to do things. And I'm not interested in daydreaming about what we could do in a typical year. We cannot obsess over the past and forget about what we've learned. I want us to have the best tomorrow that we can, and whenever I'm in doubt about our ability to do that, I go back to my favorite saying, that we cannot do all the good the world needs, but that the world needs all the good that we can do. So to wrap it up, I hope I've left you with the understanding that I have experience and I have a plan. In fact, I have a lot of plans, but I understand what we need to do to be relevant and to be a vital part of our members' educations and lives. But I also understand that I don't have all the answers, and I don't think that my ideas are perfect just because I had them. So as your president, I want to work with you and hear from you about how we go forward. I am not great at asking for help. That's something I'm working on, but the AIS has never been good at it either. And we aren't going to get very far if we go alone. So this year, let's be vulnerable and ask for help when we need it. And let's help others whenever we can. Let's take every opportunity and make the most of every day. Let's be competent and let's show the world who we are. And let's truly be the American Institute of Architecture students. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cooper. And last but not least, for our closing speeches, we have Quinn McFadden from the University of Nebraska-Lincoln.
Thanks, Erin. Throughout this week, I've talked about how the AIS is in need of some major cultural shifts, like promoting design opportunities in primary programming, expanding leadership to be an action instead of a position, and strengthening partnerships with allied organizations so we can provide and create more opportunities for access to students. Often we hear from quad directors about their experiences on the board of directors and why it gives them a better position to be an officer. And while many of you may see it as a weakness that I don't come from that background, I view it as a strength. And here's why. My passion. It is the #1 ingredient of success. And it's also the thing that provides the opportunity to invite new people to know and do more for our organization. Between the search of a new executive director and other staff positions, the AIS is currently undergoing a major transition. This is a great opportunity for an entirely new board and staff to add energy to our organization while redefining what it truly means to be an AIS member. By not having or observing interactions with the executive director, I believe I will be able to bring new dynamics to the board and daily operations as we transition the AIS out of the crisis mode. Although I may not have served on the board, I'm not inexperienced. Serving on and chairing the Freedom by Design Advisory Committee has given me the experience needed to bring design-centered programming to the national stage. This experience was arguably similar to that of a quad director, as I had to organize and create resources for chapters to utilize, actively checking in with each chapter, and brainstorming solutions for problems. Additionally, I worked with officers to develop quarterly programming events and conference sessions to equip students with the knowledge and tools needed to be successful within their chosen path. Taking these skills and the knowledge I gained from this experience will allow me to effectively deliver more design programs and opportunities to the students of this organization at large. I've also served on numerous boards for a variety of organizations over the last 5 years, most notably the AIA Nebraska Board of Governors, in which in this position I worked closely with an executive director and a number of committee chairs to accomplish organizational planning, budgeting, resource creation, and advocating for the profession and the organization as a whole. As a board member, I've leveraged my connections with local and regional counterparts of NCARB, AIA, and NAB to provide additional opportunities that better equip the students at Nebraska for success academically and professionally. Though not yet licensed, we as students should be considered active and equal voices in matters of professional practice, ethics, and community service. As your national president, I will continue to use these experiences and my power within the AIA Board of Directors and any other collateral organization I force myself onto in order to advocate for all students and bring new opportunities to the AIS that will strengthen the value of our membership and create a more accessible profession. As we heard last night, we can't dismantle the institution, but we can create and expand networks of allies to propel us forward. As president, I promise to work towards that ideal by creating committees that are focused on developing partnerships for K-12 education programs, international involvement that values our international friends just as equally as our domestic, and design advocacy, all while bringing design and service initiatives back to the national programming stage. Together, we can tackle the crazy ideas, break the status quo, and advocate for all students at all levels. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Quinn. And with that, thank you to all of our candidates. Amazing job. I hope that you are all applauding across the country. And I know we can't hear it, but know that we are also proud of you. There is still an opportunity to get to know these candidates, especially for our Council of Presidents. Don't forget about the Council of Presidents reception happening later this evening. You can find that information on the forum page on the website. And for all of our members, there is still plenty of time to get to know these candidates. And so make sure you ask them your questions that you have left before your delegates cast that vote tomorrow morning. And I will pass it back to Scott and Shannon with that.